If your marriage is struggling right now and you want it to be better, you've likely looked up things you can do to be a better husband. You're trying to be more helpful around the house. You're trying to be more agreeable, but you probably notice that things don't seem like they're getting better. And you're thinking to yourself, if I'm objectively trying to do more now as a husband than I ever have, why does it feel like the marriage is getting worse? So in this video, I'm going to break down why just being a better husband often backfires when you're trying to fix your marriage, and show you what you have to focus on first in order to reconnect with your wife and get her to care about how good a husband you are trying to be. Before I jump in, if you appreciate me making videos like this, you can let me know by giving the like button a tap. So I want to talk about why it is such an easy trap to fall into when you're trying to revive your relationship after your wife has started to become more and more emotionally disconnected. You're human, so you have responsibilities like working hard in your job, trying to be a better parent if you have kids. So it is natural that things can start to get a bit complacent in your marriage, where everything just starts to feel like it's going through the daily motions of just dealing with all those other responsibilities. Over this period of time where things seem dull and repetitive, there's probably a higher chance of getting into conflict with her. And if you're not leading her in a masculine way, what happens is an emotional disconnect starts to take place on her end. This is different for all women in terms of the speed of it, but gradually her emotions are getting disconnected. So naturally, when you realize this and the marriage has been rocky, you want to put in your effort to change that. You make a decision to try and be a better husband. What that usually means is you're going to do more of what you believe a good partner should do. So you help out around the house and you take initiative with chores, avoid conflict, and try to be incredibly accommodating to her, almost doting over her. On paper, these are all good, positive things that you want to do. And when a marriage has a healthy connection, some of these can contribute to a sustainable, healthy, happy marriage. But the problem is when she's already down the path of emotional withdrawal, these actions actually do nothing to rebuild connection, because she's not evaluating effort the way you are. She isn't asking if you're doing more. She's actually trying to figure out if she feels emotionally relaxed by you and led by you. And that question has very little to do with chores and effort. Just being accommodating and helping with chores, while still not being in your masculine center as a leader, quietly accelerates the loss of her attraction, trust, and safety. You might be thinking, but she gets mad at me when I don't take out the trash or take the chicken out of the freezer to thaw for dinner. So why would me helping out more around the house, essentially doing more of what she's asking you to do, not help us get closer and make her happier? And the answer to that is you're solving the wrong problem. Even if you are solving that problem really, really well, it doesn't help you get closer and will actually cause you to drift further apart. Emotional disconnection is not a task problem, and it's also not necessarily a communication problem, although poor communication will contribute to it. At its core, emotional disconnection is a state. When she emotionally disconnects, she's not thinking through a list of improvements you need to make or a checklist of tasks that you haven't done lately. She's responding to how it feels to be with you. All she cares about, knowingly or not, is how you make her feel. So when you respond to disconnection by becoming hyper-attentive, hyper-corrective, or hyper-helpful, she often feels more emotional pressure. Because on top of her emotions disconnecting from you, your extra help and attentiveness is now adding more pressure to feel better about you. Men get frustrated and truly think like, how could me doing more to support her possibly be pushing her away further? Well, a very important distinction that is so often missed is that there is a big difference between supporting a relationship and compensating for emotional distance. When you're giving support to a relationship, it comes from a place of steadiness and calmness. And most importantly, doesn't require any acknowledgement. Compensation is anxious and reactive. It tells her that you need reassurance, and the emotional distance makes you incredibly uncertain. When you are supporting the relationship, your actions come from who you are. When you're compensating, your actions come from what you're afraid of losing. That is a big difference that I was talking about, and she can feel that difference immediately, even if she cannot explain it to you in her own words. She feels whether your behavior is grounded or motivated. And if it's motivated, it's going to be by fear, and that creates more and more tension for her instead of safety. That is why even when you're trying hard, she will tell you that things feel very forced, and that can be a devastating thing for you to hear, because her saying that makes it feel like she is purposely punishing you for trying. But what she's responding to is the emotional energy behind your trying. And that energy is from fear and panic. Think of it this way. Imagine living in a house while someone is constantly renovating it. Walls are being knocked down, rooms are being rearranged, plans are being explained, and promises are being made about how amazing it's going to be when it's finished. Even if the renovation is well intended, even if the end result might be beautiful, living inside that house would feel exhausting. You wouldn't know where to sit. It feels like it would never end, and you wouldn't know when it would finally be stable again. That is what it feels like when you start to panic and do all of these different actions, basically renovating your effort inside the relationship when her emotional environment is not stabilized first. The marriage becomes a construction zone, which is relaxing for nobody. She can't relax because of the pressure being added as you're trying more and more things to get this reconnection from her. The truth is, your wife doesn't need you to become a better husband right now, in the sense of going out and doing all these extra chores and whatnot. She needs you to become a solid leader of the relationship. Solid means you're not monitoring her reactions constantly, you're not adjusting yourself to earn her approval thinking it's going to create safety, and you're not negotiating your identity based on her mood. If you try to be this better husband while the emotional environment for her is not safe, and your emotions are fueled by your own fear and loss, it's going to come off as unconfident and outcome-seeking. That almost always ends in a way that you're not going to like. When you're taking all the steps to try and win her back through being a better husband, even if her complaints about you not doing some of those very tasks you're trying to put more effort into now, you're creating more emotional responsibility on her, trying to get to be appeased by your effort. That kills desire. This is where men get angry and confused. I used to get so mad during my decade of relationship disaster because I would get told this laundry list of stuff I was not doing as a man in the relationship. And she would take her frustrations out on me to where I would just want to put more and more effort into some of those things. And I was at my wit's end thinking, like, she told me she wanted more effort. She told me I needed to change, and nothing was getting better when I tried. I did not know at the time that it was all about providing her relief from tension and emotional unpredictability, and being the masculine leader in the relationship. She didn't care about chores and things of that nature. At least at the forefront, that's not what matters. What I want you to take away from this is you are not a bad guy for wanting to take some responsibility and do more around the house or be a better husband, but pay attention because this can make or break saving your relationship. When your relationship is struggling and it feels like she is so disconnected from you emotionally, it doesn't matter how much you show her you care about her. That's not going to make her come back and get reconnected to you. Emotional disconnection does not respond to demonstration. The only thing she cares about, whether she knows it or not, is how you make her feel. More specifically, how much emotional safety and how contained the emotional environment is that you create. And containment means you can hold yourself together emotionally, you're not leaking fear through effort, and you're not asking her to validate your change. That is a big part of leadership in your relationship. If you're watching this and realizing that you have been working really hard and putting in more effort to try and save your relationship, yet nothing is really improving other than your skills of doing different things around the house, I don't want you to feel hopeless. You're just unfortunately been trying really hard to solve the wrong problem, but you are not broken. This is exactly why I put together my free masterclass, because you're definitely not alone in what you're experiencing in terms of the frustration of wanting to fix things in your relationship, but just not getting the results you really want. So I invite you to go watch my free relationship rebuild masterclass, because in it, I break down the entire blueprint to what truly matters in saving your marriage. I walk you through the step-by-step pillars that give you the ability to time collapse learning how to be the masculine leader that she really wants you to be. So go to the link in the description and watch that free masterclass today so you can stop the guesswork. I promise you, if you are willing, it can change your life forever. If this video opened your eyes to what has been going wrong and given you a newfound hope that you can actually turn things around, give the like button a tap and subscribe to the channel as well. I will see you in the next video.